Everyone is finally paying attention to crypto again. Bitcoin's hitting new all-time highs one after another, and it's moving fast. Journalists can't keep up. Every time they publish a story about the latest peak, Bitcoin's already climbed higher. If you're subscribed to this channel, you're not surprised at all. We saw this coming because we know that the price of Bitcoin is correlated to global liquidity, and we've been tracking it all along. But let me expose the part that everyone's missing. This is the total crypto market cap all time. The peak back in December was about 3.7 trillion. Right now, we're sitting at under 3.5 trillion, meaning we're still a full $200 billion from where we were 8 months ago. Trump and the US administration have set the foundation for crypto. Crypto week is here. The money supply is booming, and we have a member of the Fed saying that they can consider cutting rates as early as this month. You must have been paying attention to the real-time inflation numbers that shows we're trending under 2%. So much for those big bad tariffs that were supposed to ruin us all. My point here with all of this is that we have a long way to go. Phase 1 is well underway, and phase 2 and 3 are going to be here before you know it. The money is going to flow into altcoins, and you're going to see this index completely change directions. Then the big question becomes, which altcoins are going to be the winners of the cycle? If we look at the 2017 ranking, we had ETH and XRP dominating, with Cardano making a major move to the top 5. By 2021, we saw both the BNB and XRP coming in and dominating the market. Fast forward to today, and there's not a whole lot of new faces in the top 10. But if we go down the list a bit, we see some new players fighting for a spot at the top. In particular, I'm talking about SUI. It's the new kid on the block with cutting edge technology, and your favorite influencers can't stop talking about it. Is SUI the Solana and Ethereum killer, or is it just a VC coin with some good marketing? Hang on tight, the truth might shock you, or just annoy the hell out of you. In this video, I'm diving into the deepest, darkest corners of SUI's story. There's a lot of controversy here, and fans of SUI are probably not gonna like what I have to say. I'm gonna strip away the layers, sharing my unfiltered thoughts on SUI. So let's not waste any time. Hit that like button and let's dive in together. Over $12 billion in market cap, and over $2 billion in total log value on chain. They have the Grayscale SUI Trust and the VanEck SUI ETF that have brought millions to the table with institutional investment and access, and high profile partnerships with the likes of Microsoft. Yes, all this sounds bullish, but hold on for a second. We need to understand what SUI actually is at its core. What makes this project tick? And what are the risks that could make this one blow up in our faces? It's time to go deep into the shadows, reveal the truth, and be able to actually understand where things are headed for SUI. But before we do that, one quick note for all you crypto traders out there. I always get asked about my favorite exchange to use, and the truth is, I don't have one. There's just too many outages and hacks to just rely on a single platform. Even major ones like Binance, KuCoin, or Mexi have had multiple outages. That's why I use over 10 exchanges. And one of my main go-to platforms is WEEX. You simply need to use your email to sign up, and it's accessible to anyone in any country. They offer some of the lowest fees on trading, and if you sign up with my link down below, you'll get a 200 USDT bonus and a chance to earn up to 30,000 USDT in rewards. With that said, let's get back to SUI. Whether you're new to SUI or already familiar with it, here's a simple look at what makes its tech different. So it's built by Mistin Labs and is a blockchain focused on making apps like games, DeFi, or NFT platforms run quickly and cheaply. It stands out because it treats every asset like a unique item with its own ID, letting the system handle lots of transactions at once. Think thousands per second with confirmations in under a second. It also uses a coding language called Move that helps devs build safer and more flexible apps compared to older blockchain tech. SUI's vision is to be a high-speed, user-friendly blockchain, and it ranks among the top altcoins, but is still well behind giants like Solana and Ethereum. But SUI has its challenges that aren't always highlighted. There's hurdles the community might not emphasize, and it's worth looking at them to get a full picture. I'm not here to overhype or bash SUI, just to lay out the realities. And here's the bear case. First, SUI's token unlocks are a big concern. Only 35% of its 10 billion tokens are circulating. Every month, 44 million new tokens are unlocked to early investors, team members, the SUI Foundation, and community reserves. That's about $150 million worth. Here on Tokenomist, you can see the next unlock is on August 1st. And here on CryptoRank, you can see the vesting schedule. We still have quite a bit to go until April 2030. If new users or institutions don't buy enough, this extra supply could push SUI's price down. Second, SUI's token ownership is too centralized. According to to this analysis done by Justin Bonds, insiders and founders hold 84% of staked SUI, and early investors control 90 to 95% of all tokens. He talks about the lack of transparency and that the unallocated 52% of the supply is managed by custodians like BitGo and Coinbase Prime. But there's no clear ownership or vesting details disclosed. And in his thread, he warns of significant risks like the founder's ability to influence network consensus or potentially crash the market. This was a pretty big thread overall with almost 500,000 views on X. And when it comes to centralization, the small group could sell off big chunks, crashing the price, or prioritize their own interests in decisions like fund allocation. This leaves retail investors like you and I at a big disadvantage. Third, security risks are real. Last year, there was a hack where $223 million worth of funds were stolen from Cetus, a SUI DeFi platform. The main cause was smart contract flaws. Although money was recovered and patches were made, it showed that SUI's speed focus might be leaving some important safety elements on the table. Hacks remove liquidity from the chain and shake users and investors' confidence, so this is a big area to watch out for. Fourth, we can't ignore the element of competition. Every cycle, there's more and more top-tier projects that are coming to the table, and the tech, marketing, and use cases get better every time. Not to mention the fact that AI is just making everything grow exponentially. Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Avalanche, the list goes on. When it comes to market cap, Ethereum is 30 times bigger and Solana is 8 times bigger. That doesn't mean it can't be done, but I want to highlight just how much ground needs to be covered to compete amongst the top. My fifth point is that SUI's ecosystem is young and lacks a hit flagship project or hyper niche. When it comes to any blockchain, it's the projects on the chain that make or break it. No pun intended. Lido, Uniswap, Curve Finance, Aave, Spark, Pendle. These are just some of the projects on Ethereum with billions and billions of dollars in TVL. Solana has Jito, Jupiter, Radium, and more. And Solana has made a name for itself when it comes to meme coins and AI agents. In order for SUI to take things to the next level, it'll have to have at least one breakthrough platform that brings a significant amount of dollars and attention, or take over as a leader of a niche that absolutely takes crypto by storm. There's lots of opportunity, but we haven't seen anything groundbreaking just yet. And my last point is, the Move language is yet another new one for developers to learn. In today's world, blockchain devs are most familiar with Solidity, JavaScript, Rust, and a few others. Having to learn a brand new language is a barrier for developers because it takes some upfront investment of time and effort. It has to be worth it for devs to learn the language before they can just start to build. The easier it is to build on a chain, the more apps can be ported over or created. And that means more token use, gas fees, and overall on-chain activity and prosperity. And like we saw earlier, it's the projects on the chain that make or break it. These are some of the major risks for the SUI blockchain: token floods, insider control, hacks, competition, weak adoption, and Move's learning curve. Now, I want to shine some light here because I've seen nothing but bull posts all over X and YouTube. There's very few critical posts like the ones from Justin Bonds. The fact is, SUI is in a very similar position to Solana from a few years ago, and the market has proven that there's something special about the project. When it comes to adding SUI to my portfolio, I'm still deciding whether or not to get in. This video wasn't meant to bash the project, but to build an overall decision thesis. As a good crypto analyst, I went and did even more research on each and every one of the risks I've talked about. So I want to shift gears and talk about some of the positive sides of each. But before I do, if you're finding any of this helpful or insightful and want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, then you should consider joining me in the FireHustle VIP Discord. I'm in there every single day talking to all of you and working with my team to deliver some of the top crypto education, market updates, macro analysis, technical analysis, portfolio updates, and a lot more. So check out the link down below if you're interested. Now, let me address the 6 concerns from earlier. So there's definitely challenges, but there's also progress, which is why I might still consider SUI for my portfolio. First, while the token unlocks are a concern, I went to the charts and checked for any sell pressure on the first of each month. There's clearly some sell pressure after the first of each month, with a few exceptions when the market was hot. Holders were selling, but not enough to significantly dump the chart. You also have to keep in mind that the market as a whole has been on the decline since the beginning of the year. And remember, these tokens are going to founders, team members, and early investors. They didn't take the risk and hold on this long just to sell at a low point. But that does mean that tokens are locked and loaded and ready to be sold at some point in the future. And that pressure builds every month. Developer growth, user growth, and overall demand growth can still absorb the new supply and then some. And there's also the positive impact of ETFs and institutional interest. Now, what about the centralized token distribution? Well, nothing is guaranteed, but the SUI Foundation has spoken on this and assured their commitment to decentralization. They've come to the table with transparent unlock schedules and community incentives like the XBTC rewards program. The circulating supply is set to grow to 50% by 2026, so governance will also get broader. Third, security concerns. After the CDIS hack, SUI implemented fixes and quickly recovered 163 million of the 223 million that was stolen. They've prioritized audits and formal verification through the move language to level up the smart contract safety. No major hacks have happened since, but it's only been 2 months. Based on how impactful this is, we know SUI is taking it seriously from the top down. Fourth, competition in the layer 1 space. Yes, it's fierce, but SUI does have some unique advantages. It wouldn't have made it this far if it didn't. The object-based data model makes it great for asset ownership. The parallel processing makes it faster than Solana, and there's some interesting things they're doing with zero-knowledge proofs like ZK login, which has Web 2-like user experience. And while ecosystem adoption is early, SUI's metrics are trending up. Daily active addresses, daily transactions, TVL, and DEX volumes are all coming back to life and trending upwards. And finally, the Move language's learning curve is a hurdle, but can also be a long-term strength. Move security and complexity generally attracts high-caliber developers, and the SUI Foundation pushes educational initiatives that are helping developer growth. So with all that being said, SUI's technological edge and traction position it as a solid rival to Solana. There's still a long way to go, and the dilution, centralization, and security challenges won't have overnight solutions. But there's definitely a bull case here. SUI is built for speed, scale, adoption, and long-term value creation. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to SUI, and we're just scratching the surface in this video. I'd love to hear your thesis and position on SUI, and if you have any feedback on anything I've covered in this video, I read every comment, so make sure you drop one down below. Remember, when it comes to crypto, nothing is guaranteed and anything can happen. The best we can do is educate ourselves and keep a pulse on the market. Be patient, but also be diligent at the same time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you know exactly when I drop the next video. Everything in crypto is extremely time sensitive, so you have to stay on top of the latest news and analysis. And if you're interested in learning more about the projects I'm watching closely, come and join me in the FireHustle Discord. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.